Welcome, everyone, to episode 97 of the Let's Discuss Gaming podcast. I am your host, Triple J. Joining me is my co host, Dr. Games 101.
Good evening to you all tonight.
And tonight, we're going to do what we do every 2 weeks. That's go over the latest stories in gaming and giving our opinions. You ready to start with the first story?
Oh yeah, especially what's going on with the Hell Divers as late too.
Yeah, we'll get to that near the end.
Mm-hmm.
But first, first one up. Uh, Tales of the Shire's first trailer reveals it is Middle-earth Animal Crossing with hobbits. Developer Weta Workshop and publisher Private Division have released the first trailer for Tales of the Shire, and it showcases what looks like a Middle-earth Animal Crossing game with hobbits and a cozy place to call home. This trailer arrives after the first company teased releasing the first Tales of the Shire trailer this month following the game's reveal last year. In Tales of the Shire, players will create their own hobbit before setting forth into Bywater, the Shire setting of the game. Here, players can forage fruits and herbs, tend to gardens, fish, trade with townsfolk, and more, all while working to help Bywater, which has not yet been established as an official village and Hobbiton, flourish. Greet comfort at the door as you decorate your own hobbit hole, tend to your garden, fish at the clear ponds, forage with fruits and herbs, or trade with townsfolk, the press release reads. Prepare homemade meals to share with fellow hobbits and foster relationships. With much to see and lots more to eat, enjoy days of splendor in the picturesque forests, lakes, and pastures. Tales of the Shire's Hobbit Hole customization features grid-free placement, allowing players to put furniture and home decor anywhere they want, however they want. You can harvest seasonal crops and flowers as time passes in your homestead, and stock your Hobbit Hole pantry afterward. Plus, you can cook using unique recipes, partake in second breakfast, and even host dinner parties with other hobbits in Bywater. Sharing meals with guests will create new relationships to cultivate as the seasons go by. Wader Workshop says ever-changing weather will affect daily routines and bring seasonal surprises to Bywater. You can obtain rewards through story progression, all while meeting familiar and iconic characters too. You can trade with them for upgrades to skills, clothes, your home, and more. And joining clubs and completing missions and daily activities will further Bywater's status as an official village. For more about the game, head to the hub. Let's see if I can get some comments. There we go. Let's see if I can. Okay, so I can't. Wait, the best. Okay. Our MES3 goes. This game is basically my 25-year fantasy come true. Zang Master goes, dude, so freaking stoked for this game. I feel deeply that it was actually meant to be a Hobbit. And Jesse Dillon goes, this looks awful. I will be happy to play it and be wrong if it's somehow not horrendous, though. So I'm failing to see the Middle Earth, how it relates to Middle Earth, but I get how it relates to Animal Crossing. Are you excited for Tales of the Shire?
I never heard of anything like this before with the game debut itself, as far as like its actuality. Um, I guess it's pretty interesting to see how it is with putting a Middle Earth setting like that from the Lord of the Rings and all, and then having hobbits in the middle of it all and stuff in that setting type of way. So let's see how it is when it's released and what kind of reviews it's going to get. If it's good, then I'll try it out and see how it is. If it's bad, then it's going to be like the Golem pretty much. Remember that Golem game that came out last
Yeah.
year? That was crazy. We thought I was going to hear great things about that game, but they screwed up on that gameplay of itself. So all the glitches and all.
Yeah. Not to mention, again, when they said Middle Earth, I was thinking Middle Earth Shadow Mordor, Middle Earth Shadow of War. I thought it was something like that, while implicating or adding things from like Animal Crossing. Because,
Right.
like I said, when you're creating your own Hobbit hole and you get to decorate it how you want, stuff like that. Okay, that's the Animal Crossing inspiration. But I thought there was going to be, wars and killing enemies that try to rob you stuff, and and maybe there is. Maybe they just are focusing on the cutesy aspect
right?
um, of the game. Um, but yeah, this is not something that I would be interested in now that I've learned more about it.
Definitely.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I would like to say this though: if they're really gonna do this as inspiration to the Lord of the Rings and all, try to do it the right way this time. Unlike Golem, you know, please. I love the movies from the 2000s of the Lord of the Rings. It was perfect. I think I never really went in theaters for them. I don't remember because it was such a long time. But I do remember watching the movies themselves. And I have to say, when I watched the Two Towers and all, that was like epic as fuck with the wars going on and shit. Like that's a warfare where we haven't seen in a while. So it's kind of like the court of Aegon during the 14 and 15 hundreds with with the the we happy few kind of moment that's mentioned back in the history of European history and all. So kind of like that kind of setting, But if they're gonna do something like that, then that means it's gonna be a cheap knockoff, and that's why I'm mostly anticipating right now at this rate. So
Yeah, so only time will tell. So this might don't let Middle Earth confuse you like it did me. Like I said, if you like Animal Crossing games, you might like this one. If you're thinking Shadow Mordor or Shadow War, that Middle Earth, unless there's a whole side of this game that we're not hearing about yet, you might be disappointed.
oh yeah, I'm ready.
Um, okay, next one. 2K launches new NFL game today, and it's probably not what you expect. This is not 2K's long-awaited arcade game, but instead a card battler for mobile. 2K Sports released a new NFL game today as part of the company's deal with the NFL that covers non-simulation games. The Card Battler mobile game, NFL 2K Playmaker, is out now on iOS and Android as a free game supported by microtransactions and developed by Cat Daddy Games. NFL 2K Playmakers has players putting together NFL player cards with the aim of making the strongest roster overall, covering offense, defense, and special teams. The game's two main modes are Red Zone, Drive, and Seasons. In Red Zone Drive, players have to leverage their football know-how to call plays strategically and hope their players execute. In Seasons mode, players build a team and take them through an entire NFL season, culminating in the Super Bowl if they can make it that far. NFL 2K Playmakers has real players' likenesses, as the game was produced in partnership with the NFL Players Association Houston team's quarterback CJ Stroud as is the cover athlete. Starting with the upcoming 2024 NFL season, players can make predictions about real-life matchups to obtain points that they can use for a chance to grab in-game rewards. 2K said more details about this will be announced when a new NFL season begins later this year. 2K is also making an arcade style NFL game, but it has been delayed indefinitely, and there continues to be no word on when it might release. In 2023, Inside Gaming reported that development on the game had restarted at least twice since it started development. 2K's NFL 2K series was once very popular, but the publisher ended that series in 2004. Under its new agreement with the NFL, 2K will make non simulation NFL games. That's an important distraction because EA Sports remains the exclusive developer of simulation style NFL games with its Madden NFL series. The new NFL games from 2K will have the names, numbers, images, and likenesses of more than 2,000 current NFL players. With 2K getting back into NFL games, the publisher is extending its sports game catalog. 2K already makes NBA, WWE, and PGA Tour games. The company is also getting back into the tennis game and will launch Top Spin 2K25 on April 26th. So, what do you think of not only 2K getting back into making football games, but making this one for mobile?
Well, I'm not a big mobile gaming fan of sorts. I mean,
Right,
the only
me
game,
neither.
yeah, but the only game I think of on mobile is like the Final Fantasy VII First Class Soldier, but that's a different game of itself altogether. Yeah, like this is good for those who are like not gamers. At the same time, they can be gamers later on if they want to put their mind to it. Because where I worked at many years ago at some law office, a whole office led to the NFL fantasy team, and they talked to each other on these code words. Like, oh, I'll buy you this player for this much, and check out season 21 or shit, stuff like that. They'll say to each other. So this is something good for like my coworkers at that workplace specifically, and I can join in on the fun too. I've really put my mind to it too. So other than that, it's still a mobile game and it's not all that great. Personally, myself, when it comes to the other game you mentioned that's supposed to come out next year or so,
The arcade game.
yeah, the arcade game, it's kind of similar to the NFL Blitz. So they're going to do something like,
Yep.
for the first time in 20 years, NFL Blitz. That'd be great. The last NFL Blitz game I could think of was NFL Blitz for the Dreamcast back in 2001. And after that,
Yeah.
they stopped doing Blitz games altogether since then.
Well, no, they dropped the. Well, what they did is they dropped the NFL from it, but they did like make Blitz games like on PS2. I had Blitz 2, the league for PS3.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but they don't. But what's different from like the Blitz games and the NFL Blitz games is like they don't have the NFL teams. Uh, the newer Blitz games are like, I don't want to say arena football because it's not as short as an arena football field. It's
Mm-hmm.
100 yards, but they don't have like the teams or likenesses in the new Blitz games. But they focus on leaving the injuries in and having to snap players' limbs back into place or
Wow.
giving them a steroid shot
God damn.
when
I was
they
not
get hurt.
expecting that part because usually, well, I think of NFL Blitz, I think of the N64 era and the
Hmm.
arcades that came out in the arcade machines and the bowling alleys and regular arcades in the malls and all. And that back then, those were the good NFL Blitz games. And when you think of NFL Blitz, you think of like good quality, funny, very action packed, kind of innovative, that those type of games. But in today's NFL Blitz you're mentioning is kind of like, so it doesn't mention NFL obviously, but it's not the same though. So I was expecting that old school shit back in the 2000s, early
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah. I mean, to give you an example, me and my younger brother played it because we both liked Blitz 2, the league.
Okay.
He was running with the football. I took the helmet off his player, and then a teammate of mine did a shoulder tackle, hit him in the jaw, and like my younger brother's player had a broken jaw. Um, so it's kind of like it's funny because like at least in the second game, like when someone got injured, you would see like an inside view of the body, and then you would see like a bone break or move out of place. Um,
Like Mortal
and then
Kombat.
you would and then like Mortal Kombat, and then it would go back to an outside view where where you see the player writhing on the ground holding whatever's hurting, and
Hmm.
and like I said, it's they don't have the teams there, but at the same time the gameplay is still there. So it's like if you don't, I mean, what NFL Blitz, you have to make what 40 yards to get a first down.
Okay.
That's not real football. So if
Yeah.
you're hoping to play a real football game, you wouldn't be playing blitz in the first place. But if and with Madden, if you want to play a simulation game, you got Madden. If you want to play something that's funny and arcadey and doesn't take as and um, then you play something like Blitz. So yeah, this mobile game I could care less about, to be honest, because it sounds like you have to be a football fan and know your football stats if you want to if you want to do good in this game.
Hmm.
And it's going to be completely and while it's free to play, they said it's going to be completely funded through microtransactions. So that's two of my least favorite things. I'm not a sports stat junkie. I'm not, and I don't like microtransactions. Even though in free to play games they are fair because you're not paying for the game. You're playing it for free, and you can always play it for free. But yeah, this football game is not going to be what I like. Although I am interested. I'm more interested in Top Spin, and the arcade game that they're
Okay.
releasing. Because wasn't Top Spin on the Dreamcast at first? Like the very no, that was Virtua Tennis, wasn't it?
Virtual tennis. Oh wow, that's a Dreamcast right there.
I was trying to remember what was the tennis game I played on the Dreamcast. I think it was Virtua Tennis. Um,
Yeah, when I think of
yeah,
Dreamcast, I think of like D2 and Resident Evil Code Veronica and what else? The some of the NBA games there that enhance the graphics of the
yeah,
years at the time. It was 2000, 2001, 1999.
yeah. NBA 2K basically, NBA
Yeah.
2K1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this, if you're a fan of mobile games and a fan of football, this might interest you.
Hmm.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on.
Okay. Next, Nintendo Switch Online adds these N64 games for expansion pack subscribers. Extreme G and Iggy's Wrecking Balls are out now for subscribers. Nintendo has announced the next set of classic Nintendo 64 games are out now for Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pack subscribers. The racing games Extreme G and Iggy's Wrecking Balls are now both playable. Originally released in 1997, Extreme G is a futuristic racing game made by the now defunct studio Probe Entertainment. Players can pick up items to attack enemies or defend themselves. As for Iggy's Wrecking Balls, this game originally came out in 1998, has players controlling a ball-shaped character as they race to the finish line. There is local and online multiplayer. The N64 game catalog for Switch Online and expansion pack members also includes titles like Banjo-Kazooie, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask, GoldenEye 007, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Mario Golf, and many more. You can see the full list below. Subscribers can also buy the $50 Nintendo 64 Classic controller that plugs into the Switch to better replicate the original experience. A subscription to Switch Online expansion pack costs $50 a year and comes with a variety of perks beyond the N64 games. Players also get access to online play, cloud saves, the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass, the Animal Crossing New Horizons Happy Home Paradise expansion, and access to libraries of classic SNES, NES, Game Boy Advance, and Sega Genesis games. Nintendo fans are looking forward to what's coming next, and that includes a heavily rumored Switch successor. It remains officially unannounced, but key details have emerged. For more, check out GameSpot's rundown of everything we know about the Switch 2. So, as of April 24th, these are the N64 games you can play on Switch if you have the most expensive tier of their online games. These are just the N64 games. 1080 Snowboarding, Banjo Kazooie, Blast Corps, Dr. Mario 64, Excite Bike 64, Extreme G, F Zero X, GoldenEye 007, Harvest Moon 64, Iggy's Wrecking Balls, Jet Force Gemini, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards, Mario Golf, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, Mario Tennis, Paper Mario, Pilot Wing 64, Pokemon Puzzle League, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 2, Sin and Punishment, Star Fox 64, Super Mario 64, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Wave Race 64, Winback, Covert Operations, and Yoshi's Story.
Hmm.
So let's look at the comments, um, and I'm gonna sort them by, I guess, upvotes. Dushness goes, this should be like Game Pass, where you can still buy the individual games if you wanted, rather than getting them behind sub. Plump goes, agreed, it's a really dumb business decision by Nintendo to lock certain games behind a subscription. Why can't I do a one-time purchase to keep these games forever? Why do I have to pay a monthly fee to play them? At least with PlayStation Plus, you get to keep the games you added to your library even after you cancel the subscription. And Bloodlust22 goes, are you really asking why? Why do you think? It's about money. Nintendo is a money-grubbing company and wants to milk you for as much money as they can. This would be why I refuse to buy anything Nintendo. Okay, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go first on this one.
Definitely.
Um, just because I do have experience with one of the games. I have played and reviewed Extreme G. And honestly, it's to put it to put it short and sweet. It's kind of like a poor man's version of F Zero. The cars don't look like cars. They look, I don't know. They look like someone twisted a bunch of metal into different directions and said, "This is a car." Um, you're going like thousands of kilometers per hour. Um, yeah, I played it. I did not enjoy it. Iggy's Wrecking Balls, I don't even remember hearing about that. I thought that was like something to do with Iggy as one of the sons of Bowser from Super Mario. So Iggy's Wrecking Balls, I have no idea what that game is. Have you played either of these games?
I heard of Iggy before as a game back of the Nintendo system back in the 80s, but that's about it.
Okay, so with all the games that I did read, would you be interested in getting a Nintendo Switch and signing up for this $50 a year? Keep in mind, unlike Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, you could only play these games for as long as your subscription lasted.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like you have to be very wealthy if you want to continue buying it every year for the rest of your life. That is.
Yeah.
So my best bet is to get the original cartridges for a certain pricing at a flea
Yep.
market if I can, because that's my best chance to the cheap and better versions of themselves, which is the original version on the N64, and it still work like a magic still, in my opinion. Because when I was at a flea market back in I would say the year 2000. My friend got Fear Effect for PlayStation 1 for not even $15, so it's kind of good. And I myself, I think I bought like a $5 game, some random $5 game also available on the Super Nintendo or PlayStation 1. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, the flea market is your best bet. The garage sales are your best bet too. Um,
Garage sales, maybe. Flea markets, I don't know. I haven't seen many around when I was in New York. So,
yeah,
I mean,
you gotta go
they
to
used
like
to have
Pennsylvania for
one
that.
once a year in the Valley Stream parking lot of the Valley Stream pool. Like this was like in September or the end of September when the pool had always shut down. They used to turn that parking lot into a flea market for one weekend. I wish they did it all the year round, or at least while the pool was unoperational during the winter, spring, and fall. But no, other than that, I really don't know of any flea markets around in New York. I don't know if it's gotten any better or worse since then.
Well, the flea markets I'm talking about is over by the Poconos in Pennsylvania. Um,
Oh,
Yeah, so I didn't
okay.
specify at the time, but yeah, that's where my mom and I would go every year for a few years back in the 2000s, early 2000s, late 90s, and we get these deals at the supermarket, these flea markets and all. The last flea market I could think of that I can't go to get some good deals for electronic sales and stuff like that, or anything electronic, was a flea market over by Jamaica Avenue in southeast Queens, New York, where I kind of pretty much live, my whole life. And those are good places to go to as well. But it's been years now because now it's been taken over by commercial estate. And you see these stores like H&M and what's it called, Jimmy Jazz and Rockaware and stuff like that. These urban related brand name stores, not too far from me by bus. So that's about it really. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I agree with what Doctor Games 101 said, where you should, you know, um, you might want to keep the subscription if you just happen to have a Switch and you want to play it. You play the Switch anyway, so you say, you know, why not get the why not get the expansion service? But there's only so long you can keep the subscriptions going, especially with today's economy. You might be better off in the long run financially playing the getting an N64 and building up your collection, a game here, a game there. I already got Wave Race on the N64 that I can play anytime I want. Um, so I'm going to be building up my collection. Maybe not as fast as I thought I would be at the beginning of the year because I just got a new job like a month ago, and this like in 6 days I'll be getting my second paycheck because it's every 2 weeks. But yeah, long run it'd probably be better unless subscriptions. Some people they cut cable and they just get a few subscription services and say this is what I have to watch. So maybe we're thinking the old way. Um,
Yeah, definitely us older adults, because most of the Nintendo Switch fans are considered 30+ year olds. So
yeah, but like I said, also unfortunately you have to be online to access this service. So like if your internet goes out, you're screwed. If my internet goes out, I can play my N64 anytime I want. I can play my Sega Genesis or my PlayStation 2 anytime I want. Um, I don't need it to be online.
hmm
So, or actually, online gaming was in its infancy in the PS2. It wasn't as common as it was even in the PS3 360 era. So
definitely,
PS so like PS2 was kind of um, the last generation. You were just getting into where um, online gaming was still a niche. I still had a niche following um, in the PS2 era. But by I think PS3 and 360 online gaming that's when it became mainstream.
yeah. PS2
So
online game was not marketed to the general public or to vast other niche audience and stuff like that. So you're right, Triple J, because back in the 2000s, we hear games like SOCOM and Resident Evil File Outbreak. Those other games have online playability and all, but they didn't market it properly to us guys at the time to buy the expansion pack or that Ethernet related device to connect to
yeah,
our PS2s at the time, or to get
yeah.
the
But I remember,
PS Slims.
I remember that on the if you had the fat model first model PS2, you had to take off that like back tab and like screw on that internet adapter and then plug an Ethernet cable into that thing. And I don't and I had to get a Slim because the original PS2 I had died. So
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, when we were getting games like SOCOM or Resident Evil Outbreak, File Number One, or anything, we were just we were just going with what's on the disc. They really didn't mention what were the extras online.
hmm
So yeah. But anyway, like I said, it's all up to you what you could afford. Um, but yeah, so it's really if you what you can afford and if you like these games. Keep in mind, there's never going to be a day where every N64 game is on there. I would love if they could somehow get WWF No Mercy on the expansion on the Switch expansion N64 library, but we know that's not going to happen. So
Yeah,
uh,
the license issue, I bet too.
licensing, not to mention, they probably couldn't do it unless they updated the roster, and then you got 2K that owns the rights to WWE, they would have to be okay with the game being re-released. So it's again, it's basically if you like the games they offer, um, or maybe you just get an N64 yourself and get a game here, get maybe one or two games a month, get here one or two games a month there of the games you like, depending on how expensive they are, and build your collection that way.
Oh yeah.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay, next. Uh, Ubisoft has ideas for another Assassin's Creed Basem story. There are still no plans for DLC. Ubisoft developers have confirmed they have more ideas revolving around Assassin's Creed Mirage protagonist Basim, but reiterate that the game is a standalone experience. In a Reddit AMA, several Ubisoft developers answered questions about Assassin's Creed Mirage and the future of the franchise. We're thrilled by the reception of Mirage. Mirage has been designed as a standalone experience without any DLC plan, explained creative director Stephen Boudon. However, we have ideas on how we could extend the story of Basim, surely, but as of today, no post-launch content is planned for Mirage. It's unclear what kind of way Basim could appear again. While Boudin said that there are no plans for Mirage DLC, that doesn't rule out something like a direct sequel or a cameo in future Assassin's Creed games. Ubisoft had a past promotion with Twitch where players could earn in-game rewards through Twitch drops by watching support streams. One such reward was Basim Sword from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Houdan said that the sword will be available through Ubisoft Connect at a later date without the need for a Twitch drop. One user asked if non-lethal knockout options will be added to Mirage in the future, and Houdan answered that they won't be. However, that's something that Ubisoft development teams could consider going forward. Ubisoft is currently working on multiple Assassin's Creed projects. One of them is codenamed Hex, which reportedly will let players process and control a cat. Assassin's Creed Mirage is now available on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. In GameSpot's Assassin's Creed Mirage review, we said Assassin's Creed Mirage focuses on social stealth and detective work, makes for a compelling dive into 9th century Baghdad. So there are a couple of comments. I'm going to read them. Swadden5 goes, I'll pass. No thanks. Okay, that's the only comment, so the other one must have been removed. So, do you care about Assassin's Creed Mirage and that protagonist Basim, or no?
I don't like Assassin's Creed games altogether. I own a few games so far through the game for the not only the Game Pass also, but also the Xbox games with gold back in the day. So I'll play. I never played Assassin's Creed 1 before. I got a copy of that still. Got Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Unity. So I got that. That was my actually first ever games, Unity and Black Flag, as part of my bundle for the Xbox One. I got for Christmas of 2014. So you tell I'm like into Assassin's Creed to some degree, but I've already played it for the last couple of years now, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
it used to be very interesting to play these games. Once the NZO is no longer available to play with, and they started expanding into the microtransactions with the oh you got to have that certain Assassin's Creed level, the Assassin's level in order to do assassination now, which doesn't make any sense. It's unrealistic, you know. That's an
Right.
odyssey. Like I'm not gonna pay for a game that I have to pay $5, $10 to get a proper level or to earn it. Like it's just like we can earn the different assassination styles, but not assassination altogether. That's kind of stupid. Because Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
is Assassin's Creed. You're assassinating people in stealth. So you tell kids, especially kids, oh, you need to spend $5, $10, or 10 hours to develop a level to assassinate a certain person. Like what's the point of it all that, you know? So
Yeah. Um, yeah, I have to say, I kind of feel when Assassin's Creed got into microtransactions again, uh, that Assassin's Creed had just left its peak. I never really got into Assassin's Creed 1, 2, or 3. But I was a big fan of Assassin's Creed. What was the first one I played? Not, I still have Revelations. I could play that one if I want, and Brotherhood. Um, I got Brotherhood available in the store. Um, but like I played Assassin's Creed Rogue, I played Assassin's Creed Syndicate to the end, and Black Flag for a long time. And like I said, the Rogue and Syndicate I finished. Revelations I'll finish someday. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Brotherhood or the older games.
hmm
Um, but like I feel like after Syndicate, that's when Assassin's Creed peaked. And when you peak, you just have one direction down.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm not really. I really don't care about like. I really thought Valhalla, and I think there was another one that came out like after that. Um, I think I played it on Game Pass, and it's just like, what is this? What did they do? Um,
must be Mirage because how it came out back in like 3 or 4 years ago.
okay, well, I haven't had Game Pass for like a year, so um, but I do remember playing something. I do remember it might have been Valhalla actually. Now that I think about it, um, yeah, it's kind of like after Syndicate, they just went downhill in quality. Um, which is a shame because I really like the Assassin's Creed games. But much rather play the older ones instead of the newer ones. But whether I play the older ones or the newer ones, they don't match up to like that Revelations, Rogue, Syndicate, um, and I'll even throw Black Flag in there. Black Flag era. It's
Yeah, Black Flag
um,
has been the best Assassin's Creed so far, in my
I
opinion.
wouldn't go that far. I think Assassin's Creed Syndicate was the best, but
Really? Okay.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, Black Flag was fine. Obviously they threw a lot of stuff in where you can captain a ship and everything, but at the same time, some of the land missions were ridiculous. So like Rogue and Syndicate were my favorites,
Okay.
and I'll throw Revelations in there because I've been basically saving that to do on Twitch, which is the only reason I haven't played
And if you're pro American, Assassin's Creed 3 all the way. Especially that promo they did with that song, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I got to go, I got to go. You know, that's an actual rap song that put in the Assassin's Creed promo. And I loved it. It was very hyped up because if you're a pro American, you believe in the American Constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. The American Revolution was one of the bloodiest wars in America's history. And, it was worth it too with Benjamin Franklin and John, Thomas Jefferson, you name it. Like these guys, without them, there wouldn't be America we have right now. All this
it. Right.
enterprise, capital, and you can do whatever you want to do. I mean, of course, it's consequences of your actions, depends on what you want to do in this country. But still, like you can do as much as you want, whenever you want, without hurt anyone. So, those are the
Yeah.
days of America we grew up with.
I'd have to say the only thing I really don't like about the early Assassin's Creed games is I hate how like in 1, 2, and 3, you had to use stealth. There was no way you were getting through. And don't get me wrong, okay, it was supposed to be stealth, but it's kind of like if I kind of like it where okay, if a game has to be stealth, it's stealth. But if you screw up, you're not facing 1 on 20, 1 on 30 odds.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I wish like you still had if you screw up and an enemy sees you, you still have a chance to fight out, or at least some chance, even if it's not a good chance, but not absolutely no chance at all. So that's kind of what I don't like about the older games. But then again, Rogue and Syndicate were more melee attack than the other Assassin's Creed games, which is maybe why I like them. Um, and I gotta throw Revelations in there as well. So
Okay.
maybe that's why I like them. But I'm not happy with what they're doing currently with Assassin's Creed. I think Valhalla and anything post Valhalla has been awful.
Yeah, Mirage should do so by here. Like it's okay to play it as a Assassin's Creed, of course, but they put too much microtransactions in there. Like here, it's glitches in the game, so it's not all that great as it used to be. Assassin's Creed.
All right. So anything else to add, or ready to move on?
We can move on now.
Okay. Next, Capcom is delisting 3 of its most underrated games, and it's unclear why. The Dark Void series is being delisted. Capcom is delisting some of its most underrated games soon, namely ones from the Dark Void series. According to Steam, the games Dark Void Zero, and Flock will be removed from the storefront on May 8th. The reasoning behind the delisting is currently unclear as well as if the removal will also extend to PSN Store and Xbox Live Marketplace. Dark Void was released in 2010 for PC, PS3, and Xbox 360. The story is set before World War II and follows a cargo pilot named William Augustus Gray. As he is traveling through the Bermuda Triangle, he gets transported to another world called the Void. He joins a group called the Survivors as they battle an alien race called the Watchers, all the while trying to find a way back home. Dark Void Zero was released in 2010 as well for PC, DSiWare, and iOS. It's a parody game of Dark Void that started as a joke inside Capcom, but was eventually made into a real title. Flock is a puzzle game that was released in 2009 for PC, PS3, and Xbox Live Arcade. Capcom also delisted Age of Booty, a pirate strategy game last month from the Xbox Live Marketplace, as well as several older Devil May Cry games on Steam back in February. I just got to say this title again. Age of Booty! There is a comment. I like Dark Void, but the Windows version has some garbage DRM, so I never installed it. The news should instead be that they removed the extra DRM and it's still available. Yeah, so have you ever played the Dark Void series?
I've got a copy of it for years for so far on the Xbox One.
Okay.
It's obviously Xbox 360 game by default, of course, but it's backwards compatible on the Xbox One. I bought it, either I bought it or it's part of the Games with Gold many years ago, actually. And it looked good. I played it for about 20 to 30 minutes. I didn't record it, unfortunately, but if you're going to delist it altogether on my library, I'm going to definitely do record it, definitely, sometime next week if we're going to remove it by then. So, but other than that, I should be able to still keep it, though. Because I bought it with Games with Gold, and, as long as people own it, to some degree, they should keep onto a copy of themselves. So,
Yeah, but you see game companies trying to stop that from happening.
oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I do, for anyone that is interested, I do have a copy of Dark Void for PS3 in the store. So if you are interested, it's disc only. I don't have the case or manual, so if you are interested in buying it, let me know. I played Dark Void once. I didn't get into it. I didn't. Just the story just didn't connect. The
yeah.
story,
You're right.
as I was reading it, it sounded a lot more interesting than what I picked up while I was playing. Um, so that's why I kind of never went back to Dark Void. It's kind of like that's the story. That sounds awesome, but when I played it, I didn't. I didn't. It's almost like a Land of the Lost. Look at the show I'm referencing now. How that really shows me and Doctor Games 101's age.
Yeah,
Um, uh, well, my
it
mother
was
was
all.
the one who actually watched that show.
It wasn't all that great, Dark Void, in layman's terms. Like, I played it for 3 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm like, it's a good gameplay. If I get the hang of it, it should be great after a while. But I didn't connect well either. You're right. So
Yeah, so I was like, when I heard that storyline, I'm like, that's awesome. But then I'm like, wait a minute, I played this already, and I didn't care for it. So
yeah, maybe I'll play it if I'm drunk or if I'm like drinking a bottle of wine. I just got wine in the mail not too long ago, so I'll drunk play it.
alcoholic, alcoholic, alcoholic.
Yeah, it's only Cabernet Sauvignon and a little bit of White Zinfandel. In my everyday. Well, if I
Yeah,
ever every day.
yeah. It's only that until you start drinking it at 8 in the morning.
Nah, not that type of drink alcoholic. So
I'm sure Odd Todd didn't start out that kind of drinker either.
yeah, the odd touch. Good stuff, guys. Look at oddtime.com.
Yeah. It wasn't the cartoon we were referencing. Um,
Yes.
it's just I remember one episode. I forget which one it was. Odd Todd goes. He was drinking coffee, staring at the wall, and he's like, I was thinking of trading these in for a few beers, but drinking beer in the morning set off some alarms, and then you just see in a big circle alcoholic like.
See, like I re-download this episode before it's too late. Because obviously, freedom of speech and censorship is at risk. So, because those shows right now in today's world are like taboo. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, there's it's that really doesn't say much. I mean, I feel like today My Little Pony could be taboo. I mean,
If you include the satanic references of My Little Pony, yeah.
you don't even need that. It's just I could just imagine some snowflake going. Horses have rights too, and then and this is exploitation, and then
And the
that's why we
brony,
can't have nice things
and the
because
and the
in the old days we
bronies.
told those kind of people to shut up and sit in the corner and everything will be all right. Now we actually got to cater to them.
Yeah. And the bronies kind of ruined the situation too. So
But in all seriousness, Yeah, so Dark Void. Don't let the like I said, the article made it sound better than it was when I played it. Um, so if you want to play it or try it out, like I said, I got a copy for sale. Let me know.
Okay.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on. That was pretty good.
All right. Xbox hardware just had worst sales drop off in years. Overall, though, Xbox revenue is putting up huge numbers thanks to Microsoft's buyout of Activision Blizzard. Microsoft has released its latest earnings report, and included in the document is an update on how the Xbox division is doing. Overall, Xbox revenue is way up thanks to contributions from Activision Blizzard, but hardware sales are down massively. And that's not exclusive to Xbox either, as PlayStation recently missed sales targets and Switch sales are trending down. Microsoft said in its quarterly filing that Xbox hardware revenue decreased 31% due to lower volume of consoles sold. According to GI.biz, this past quarter was the worst ever since the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S launched in November 2020 in terms of a quarterly percent decline. Again, this downturn is not specific to Xbox. Circana, formerly known as NPD, reported recently that all three platforms, Xbox Series, X and S, PS5, and Switch, are experiencing year-over-year declines in the US. All three platforms were down at a minimum of 19% year-over-year based on the latest publicly available data. Well, when PS5 has 12 exclusive games, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are now expected to be working on new hardware to help breathe new life into their hardware businesses. Maybe Sony should work on new software. Xbox has already flat out confirmed new hardware, while rumors continue to swirl about a potential PS5 Pro and Nintendo Switch 2. In better news for Xbox, total gaming revenue increased by 51% or $1.8 billion thanks to growth in the Xbox content and service business. Content and services revenue specifically jumped by 62%, with Activision Blizzard revenue driving 61 points of net impact overall. To put things into perspective, analyst Daniel Ahmad pointed out how if Activision Blizzard were excluded, Microsoft's gaming revenue would be down about 5% year over year. You can see why Microsoft sees M&A um, as essential for growth, Ahmad said. Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard in 2023 for a price of $74.5 billion. Not long after, Microsoft laid off nearly 2,000 people at Xbox. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer defended the cut, saying Xbox is a business and his job is to increase profitability and shareholder value, even if that means laying people off. Looking ahead, Nintendo will release its latest earnings report on May 7th, while Sony is giving its own financial update on May 14th, so it won't be much longer until we learn how the Switch and PlayStation businesses are performing. As for Xbox, it will hold a summertime game showcase in June that could include the next Call of Duty games and more. So there are comments, so I'm gonna see those. CeeLo Green 84 goes, okay, so the PS5 isn't selling and neither is the Switch. So how is this Xbox is bad because of a slowdown in sales as well? GameSpot has a pure prejudice of everything Xbox, and it is showing because of their bias for everything Sony. GameSpot needs to get its crap together instead of pushing prejudices towards a console or a company that they just don't like or favor. Red Viper of Dawn goes, they do the same whenever they post about Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, and they disable comments so no one can call them out on it. CeeLo Green responded, this is so full BS, it's not funny at all. Anything good that happens for Xbox, they refuse to report on, but anything that could be bad, even if it cannot be confirmed, they rush to report on. Personally, I think it's about time for Microsoft to start suing these sites and people for false rumors about the company and the brand. Simply because for every false rumor that cannot be confirmed does harm to the brand and sales of the console and games. So, what do you think? Basically, all three systems being down in terms of sales.
Well, what's so funny about it is that PlayStation, Sony, and Nintendo Switch and all they seem to come out with their sales soon or their overall summary of the sales, but not Xbox, and it's the truth. So yes, even though GameSpot is like they're being prejudiced towards Microsoft to some degree, it's the truth though because they have been transparent about Microsoft's Xbox division in how many months, if not years. Ever since when the Xbox Series X and S came out, they didn't tell about their sales since 2020. So it's you know it's a given that people are going to will talk about the it behind their backs or altogether in general speaking. So if you're going to back it up, then nothing's going to be presented. Then people will assume things, and rumors will spread about that company or companies. Personally, myself, I haven't bought an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X and S in how many years now? Since like 2021, 2022, I give or take. That was probably just for the Xbox Ones that were all refurbished. So it's all about money available from the consumer, whether how young or how old, depends on what part of what time it is to that person. Um, yeah, it's iffy now because the economy has been in shambles for quite some time now. 3 4 years ago, people had the money to buy things because of the stimulus checks and all that was given by the government. Now, so that been dried
Yeah,
up,
but that was the beginning of the downfall.
yeah, it was dried up by 2022, and by then, months later, we saw everything increase in when the $70 gaming games and all. So it's not looking good for the gaming companies altogether. Person myself, they have potential to sell as much copies as they want to, but they have to lower their prices down a little bit further over the next year or so. If you want to see some good good reflections. So that's my
Yeah,
opinion.
well, prices have to go down across the board. This is not sustainable long term, um, the way prices are now. Um, but I have to say also, just about the consoles. I mean, every console has done wrong, um, which is why it's not really surprising to see that all consoles, or at least the three major ones, have fallen. I mean, you had Xbox saying they lost the console war. That really put uh, confidence in the people to spend money on Xbox products when Xbox said we lost the war. PlayStation 5, I already referenced it in the article, even though they didn't say in the article. There's 12 exclusive games on PS5 that you can't play on PS4.
Hmm.
Maybe Spider-Man 2, maybe a couple others that you would actually care about. The rest can be played on PS4. So why would people spend the money to get a PS5 or a PS5 Pro? They should cancel the Pro and get games on the PS, you know, to make the PS5 actually worth the money that it's worth, um, instead of making it an expansion for the PS4, basically. Uh, and then Nintendo Switch, like I said, while the Switch was doing great, I don't really see anyone buying it unless with the Switch 2 being rumored. So it's kind of like the only people who are going to buy the Switch now are people who were holding out, hoping to get it as cheap as possible.
Hmm.
So that's kind of why I see sales across the board for each console dropping. Yeah, I mean Xbox, a lot of they don't talk about it now, but when they said they lost the console war, that really did hurt them, at least in the short term. Um, PS5 is a waste. PS5 Pro is even a bigger waste. Um, and like I said, Switch was doing good, but with everyone anticipating Switch 2, no one's gonna, no one's gonna, uh, no one's gonna be focusing on the Switch basically because the Switch has been out for like 7 years, so it's had a good run. Um, but with everyone anticipating what's new, I don't really see Switch continuing to be as profitable as it was in past years.
Let's say I have another Black Friday sale where like more than
Even
$100
that,
off.
because I mean, even that, because I mean, how many Black Friday sales? How many games and stuff? I mean, can come out to revitalize the Switch? Um, that yeah, how many games can come out to revitalize the Switch? How many Black Friday sales can you have? That's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. Um, That Band-Aid's going to get soaked in blood and then not do its job at all. Um, it's not gonna bring interest back to the Switch unless they kill the rumor and say there is no Switch 2. But they don't want to do that because they're going to obviously come out with it eventually. So
Oh yeah.
they're obviously not going to do that. So it's I'm not surprised that the console sales for all three major consoles have been going down. And don't forget, digital games I think played a part in that. There are people who are refusing to buy digital games outright, and if you don't have a game to play, you're not gonna get the console that it's for. Uh, so you're not gonna. That I think that's another thing. People are hating how we're heading towards an all digital future. I see it too. Doctor Games 101, I think, sees it. I think Stevie Wonder could see it. Um, but Tweedledee and Tweedledum could see it. But I digress. The digital future, again, there are people holding out. There are people saying, I don't want to go into this all digital future. Like I said, I'm going retro. I'm going backward instead of forward. Uh, and other people are just getting out of the hobby altogether, or they're just going to do what I did. Or they're just going to grit their teeth and do it even though they don't want to. So I think those factors are what really hurt console sales across the board. But I will agree with that one person who said that, this isn't just Xbox. Um, you know, PS5 and Switch also are having their own console sale problems. So, anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I just said wholeheartedly that it's inevitable the all
Yep.
digital future of gaming, especially with Xbox and PlayStation. They're going to be not hit hard the most, obviously, but they're gonna be step up their game to make sure that they support quality in their product more than about quantity and conservation of that quantity as well. So that's all I gotta say. I'm ready to move on.
Okay. New Escape from Tarkov edition locks PvE behind $250 paywall. The pricey new edition also grants players access to high priority matchmaking. Escape from Tarkov's community is currently pushing back against the game's pricey new edition one that costs $250, features an exclusive offline player versus enemy mode, and now comes with a number of additional benefits players have been quick to call out as pay to win. Developer Battlestate Games recently unveiled a new special edition for its popular extraction shooter, the Unheard Edition. It features a number of different perks and exclusive items for buyers, but the biggest selling point of the $250 edition is that it grants owners access to a new offline player versus enemy mode that can be played co-op and features persistent character progression. The announcements of the new PvE mode being locked behind a $250 paywall didn't exactly go over well with the game's community, especially those who bought the last special edition of the game, the $150 Edge of Darkness version, which was removed from sale in January. That edition promised owners all future DLC, something that Battlestate Games now says doesn't apply to the PvE mode. According to the game's lead community manager in a post on the official Escape from Tarkov Discord server via Polygon, the PvE mode is a feature and a game mode, and not DLC, and therefore won't be available to those who bought Edge of Darkness. Reader added community notes on X in response to Battlestate Games statements point out that new game modes are generally accepted as DLC and that owners of the Edge of Darkness edition were promised free access to all subsequent DLCs, something that Battlestate is not honoring. Backlash against the new edition was swift, causing Battlestate Games to change it so that Unheard Edition owners will instead be able to play the mode exclusively for 6 months before it comes to all players, though that technically made it so all players will be able to play the PvE mode eventually. Battlestate Games made a whole other mess for itself in the process. In order to sweeten the pot of the Unheard Edition for those who already bought it, Battlestate Games announced a number of other new perks that will come to owners of the edition, including high priority matchmaking, the ability to skip some daily quests for free, unique clothing items, increased pocket space, faster return of insured items, and more. The changes into the Unheard Edition have unsurprisingly also not gone over well with the community, now accusing the developers of separating its community into have and have nots and turning Escape from Tarkov into a pay to win experience. It's not the first time Escape from Tarkov has offered in game perks for those who bought a special edition. The previously mentioned Edge of Darkness edition gave players who owned it a bigger stash and other benefits, but the Unheard edition does seem to go a step further by giving priority matchmaking to those who pay up, which look to have crossed a line in a way advantages from previous editions have not. Escape from Tarkov players on the game's subreddit are now trying to get the United Kingdom-based Battlestate Games to make further changes to the Unheard edition, calling on it to honor the all DLC promised to Edge of Darkness owners. Some players are even considering taking legal action with multiple threads on the subreddit instructing players how to file a complaint to the UK's Office of Trading Standards and accuse Battlestate Games of misleading customers and false advertising. Battlestate Games has not yet issued a response to complaints in regards to the various pay-to-win aspects of the new edition, or if it will change its mind in regards to giving Edge of Darkness owners access to the PvE mode. But it's clear that the community is currently up in arms. As one commenter on the Unheard Edition's YouTube reveal trailer states, they call this the Unheard Edition because they refuse to listen to us. And there's one comment going, EA would be proud.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think of this mess surrounding Escape from Tarkov?
Well, I've been hearing this game, Escape from Tarkov, for quite some time. It was mentioned how many times over that it's a good game to play. I want to say it's the best of the best, but it's still a good experience to those that want to know, get to know more about the game, at least by playing more of it. But in recent time, they're more about money than instead about quality, and it's a major turnoff to most players that want to start playing it. Like myself, for example, and I see that,
Yeah.
they want to make sure people pay $250 behind a paywall of sorts to only get the PvE experience. I'm like, that's a chip right there. That's like, that sounds unexpected. And not every player can afford $250 so easily to play the PvE online mode and stuff like that. It's a disappointing offer from the Escape from Tarkov creators, of the game and all. And I wish they can just, stop doing what they're doing with put it behind the paywall and try to spread it out to different parts of the tier, make sure people play it. And also, it was well mentioned by a reference to the Time Machine. It's good thing we saw the Time Machine site and archival sites and stuff like that, because they lied to the public saying that, oh, we didn't put that there on purpose. We had a distinct notice saying that that's not the case. Really, you had to pay behind the paywall, whatever they're trying to say. No, it was supposed to be part of the package when you bought the $60, $50 game of its minimum purchase. So they lied altogether. So that's another thing why I'm not going to support them anytime soon. If ever. So it's unlawful practice, or at least unethical, and they should just be punished for it, and but not pay for their services, let alone the game itself.
Right. Yeah. Definitely unethical. Definitely dishonest. This is ridiculous. And I just have to say, this is ridiculous. $250 is ridiculous for even the most expensive edition of a game, not to mention just a new game mode. But you already mentioned in the Edge of Darkness, when you were selling that mode or that edition, that also DLC would come. And yes, a new game mode is DLC. If they have to download it to the game, it's DLC. Case closed. So, yeah, this is ridiculous. People already, and you're saying people can't afford it. What about the people who already paid $150 thinking they were going to get everything to come to the game later anyway? So, and now you want them to pay $250. $250 is how much is like half price of a new console. I mean, and you want that just for a simple game mode and a few other perks. Are you out of your mind? Battle State Games? I mean, so yeah, I mean this is ridiculous on so many levels. It's overpriced. I can't you can't tell me a game mode is worth what half a con is worth what a console would be at half price. Um, I'm just not buying that. You, and then to say and then to slap everyone who bought The Edge of Darkness saying it's not DLC. Yeah, if you have to download it, it's DLC.
Downloadable
So
content,
Battle
you
State
want?
Games, so Battle State Games, don't give me that. Don't spread that crap. You don't decide what's DLC. DLC stands for downloadable content. If it's content for the game and it has to be downloaded, it's DLC. Um,
They were that stupid. That's funny.
yeah, so Escape from Tarkov. If they want to destroy the game, that's them. Um, because this isn't due to a console. This is the developers doing this. But yeah, so um, yeah, don't support dishonest developers like this. It should get rid of this unheard edition, bring back the Edge of Darkness edition, and let this be free to everyone who got the Edge of Darkness edition.
Hmm.
Um, because I mean, if this happens, what happens 5 years? They're going to release the Godly edition, and there's going to be more modes just to the Godly edition for $500. Then what? Um, so just imagine what they would do if this was received well. Thankfully, it's not being received well. Um, yeah, and it's just a shame. So I wouldn't. I don't. I don't blame anyone who is mad at Battle State Games.
Hmm.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Yeah, we move on from this travesty.
Okay. Fallout 4 next gen update riddled with issues. Gotta love that Bethesda polish. Okay. Bethesda's highly anticipated next gen update for Fallout 4 is is riddled with issues across PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. The next gen version was finally released on April 25th, 2024, around 18 months after it was announced, but the several gigabyte update hasn't been met with much fanfare. The Steam version of Fallout 4 appears most wrought with technical issues, though PlayStation 5 players have struggled to obtain the update at all due to an availability error and confusing messaging from Bethesda. Xbox players, on the other hand, don't have access to the game's quality mode, meaning they can't experience one of the main appeals of the next gen update, 4K resolution on ultra settings. This specific issue was confirmed on Twitter by tech expert Digital Foundry's Thomas Morgan. I can confirm that only the 60 frames per second performance mode works right now. The update has a bug. PC players, meanwhile, have taken to Steam to flag myriad issues with the update. Many of the bugs that existed and were promised to be fixed are actually still in the game after the patch, said Piglet in one review. Finally updated the game and didn't fix a single issue, wrote Birthday Jesus. But now the mods I used to fix that the mods I used to fix it don't work. The initial reaction to the patch notes weren't positive either. Damn, the bug fix list is short, wrote Dreamweaver WR on Reddit, a comment which has 921 upvotes. I had very low expectations, but this is much less than I expected. They didn't fix almost any of the bugs that annoyed me the most, VATS crash and perception bug in survival, for example. Fluffy, oh my god, this name. Fluffy Bun Bun Kittens chimed in too. It is kind of amazing, they said. Now I'm just waiting with interest what new bugs we get with this update. Thank God it's not EA and The Sims. One of these new bugs seemingly makes the game I could hear you laughing. One of these new bugs seemingly makes the game unplayable for some on Steam Deck. A Reddit post from Prune Backwards said Fallout 4 can no longer be launched on a handheld PC, a sentiment corroborated by many in the comments and elsewhere. Some players who can launch the game are finding myriad issues depending upon doing so too, like having no graphic settings, no launcher, defaulting to low settings, having a poor frame rate, and more. PlayStation users haven't been free from the issues either, though perhaps the biggest came in even trying to access the game. Fallout 4 was available for free through PlayStation Plus to all PS5 owners from November of 2020 to May of 2023. But this version of the game, nor the PlayStation Plus Essentials catalog version, wouldn't allow players to upgrade to the next gen update for free. A full $19.99 purchase was required instead, though Bethesda soon confirmed this was an unintentional bug. We've seen some confusion regarding the free Fallout 4 Next Gen update for PlayStation Plus Extra members, wrote a Bethesda community manager on the company's official Discord, who clarified it should be free as expected. Bethesda wasn't able to offer any clarification regarding the free PS5 version nor the PS Plus Essentials version, however, saying on X/Twitter that we do not have any information regarding either PS5 users were naturally left frustrated with the initial bug and unclear communication. Those who have been able to get into the game haven't had the best experience either, and have taken to social media to share their impressions. The Fallout 4 PS5 upgrade looks amazing, wrote CSS Jazz on Reddit sarcastically as they posted the comment alongside a video of one area with missing textures. Reddit user pasta_classic posted an image of the character creator screen where the default man was missing a face completely. Loving the update, wrote Snoopy the dog, who posted a video of their character locked in place while being killed by roaches. Gotta love that Bethesda polish, said Unwilling Arsonist, whose post showed that makeshift weapons in the updates are also missing textures, appearing as floating red exclamation marks in the world. The issue comes as somewhat of a sour note in what's otherwise been a Fallout resurgence spurred on by the officially acclaimed Amazon TV series. A huge upswing in the popularity of Fallout 4, multiplayer entry Fallout 76, and other games in the franchise even caused popular modding website Nexus Mods to struggle, and Fallout 76, once universally panned, saw 1 million players log in a single day following the show's release. So let's go to the comments. Um, so there's quite a few. PlayStation users have struggled with an availability error. Came from Bit the Wing Idiot 0528. James underscore 329 5700 goes, I have Fallout 4 on disc too, but labeling Plus games as free perks is crazy. Plus, cost money, and the games that come with it are part of that cost. New Jack Swing goes, should we be entitled to the perks that they tell us we get with the Plus version of the game? That's the case here. They are saying Plus owners get this, and it isn't available to everyone. You really defending this? Is this Todd's burner account? So, what do you think of Fallout 4's next generation update being a dumpster fire?
Yeah, it's expected because Fallout 4 have been had issues since its release, and that's always with any Bethesda game for how many decades so far. Ty will probably mention, oh, this game will have no flaws or it's flawless, it's epic and all. Like you said, it with Fallout 76 and all, but what happened to that game as well? So, but
Yeah,
but Fallout 4 specifically is much better than Fallout 76 of its in comparison, obviously, because it's it has its game and it has its story modes, but it was I heard it was dumbed down as well to some degree as well. So it's not all that great of a game, Fallout 4 I hear, but but as far as playing on newer systems and all, it was expected to be messed up anyway because they haven't fixed the bugs since the release of the game back in 2016, 2017, give or take. So if they didn't fix nothing and try to build upon something that's been not fixed or has been partially damaged, then it's gonna still be damaged. So once the game comes out of its fullness and says incomplete or has problems, then you can't fix it entirely. There's just no way. So it's just a bad habit that these gaming companies been doing for the last almost 10 years now, where they release a product, right, and it's incomplete. And when they try to fix the patches and all of it, day one, however it's called, it's still problems with the game. Cyberpunk 2077 was the same thing too. Now, fortunately for me, my copy, I didn't have that problem yet with the glitches and all. So I guess they fixed something great, but but still, you're still gonna have that overall unexpected, occurrence and glitches and all. So it's something unexpected and probably inevitable for it to be fixed entirely. But it is what it is right now. So now you gotta deal with it. Bethesda and all.
Yeah. This is a shame. Really. I guess. You know, like I said, if EA was behind this and this was The Sims, this would be expected. Um, because every update was awful for a long time until they stopped doing updates. Really.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is a shame because like they said, the Fallout TV show on Amazon was basically made the franchise. People love the franchise again. Um, so it's a shame that the bugs you know are still there. Obviously, um, so it's Fallout 4. Unfortunately, it's just something we have to get used to. I mean, it'd be better if games didn't ship with glitches in the first place. But like I said in the last episode, everyone thinks, oh, we'll just patch it later. Um, no, that's no. It's supposed to be you patch it if an undiscovered bug is discovered, not because you're trying to meet deadlines. Um, so yeah, it's a shame that these bugs are there. Unfortunately, that's possible. That's the case. That's possible with many games. I'm surprised they had an update and it fixed almost nothing.
Oh yeah.
So, um, what were you laughing at before when I was reading the article?
Oh, that was just being with my voice. It's I don't think it's never no new, but I have problems with my physiological um, system where there are times where I get be in pain most of the time because I have
Oh,
rheumatoid arthritis. So I be in pain and my body will just like react to itself with my voice and all. I'll be doing and that's me from like every few seconds to a couple minutes, from breathing
oh,
and
I
such.
thought you were laughing at the fluffy bunny name or whatever it
That
was.
too, that too as well. But
Oh
just
yeah.
that too. That was that was funny too. So, but yeah, that's what happens for the last several months with me. It's just a mixture of like pain problems, stuff like that I had with the doctor and all, and they can't do much about it. So I just deal with it. So, but I'm fine overall. I just had to just
Yeah,
eat
I
better and
mean,
stuff like that. So
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health major. I mean, the only thing that you could do is maybe lose weight through exercise and stuff.
definitely.
That probably would at least not maybe get rid of the pain, but get rid of some of it. Make it not as you know make it not as hurt as much as it does currently.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, that's but anyway. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Okay, you're going to be interested about this next story.
I see.
Tekken 8 reveals second DLC character, brand new story, and more. Bandai Namco has revealed its roadmap for Tekken 8 throughout the rest of 2024, including the game's second DLC character, new story, and plenty more. The second DLC character is Lydia Sobeski, who is teased at the end of the roadmap trailer below in the world of Tekken. Lydia is the Prime Minister of Poland who made her debut in Tekken 7 as DLC in the Season 4 pass. For Tekken 8, Lydia launches the summer with early access for character Year 1 pass owners. Meanwhile, in the fall, a brand new story involving Eddie Gordo launches as a free update. Other additions include a sweeping balance pass in the spring. The first battle balance adjustments for the season are coming soon, with patch notes for Update 1.04 set to be released tomorrow, April 30th, 2024, and a new stage, the Seaside Resort, and the photo mode in the summer. Additional modes such as Ghost vs. Ghost or Online Practice are planned to be added at a later date, Bandai Namco said. Tekken 8 launched in January on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S to critical commercial acclaim, selling over 2 million copies in the first month of release. However, sentiment soured due to what was deemed aggressive post launch monetization, more akin to what you'd see with a free to play game than a $70 release, leading to a mostly negative recent user review rating on Steam. IGN's Tekken 8 review returned a 9 out of 10. We said Tekken 8 is an incredible evolution for the series with tons of single player content, an excellent suite of training tools, a great online experience, and exciting new mechanics that make Tekken more dynamic than ever. But then again, their review came out before the monetization, um, the aggressive monetization practices. Kingstar Bolt 84 goes, glad Lydia is joining, even if I don't support all the backloaded microtransactions and absolute decimation of customization mode to encourage microtransaction purchases. I hope she's included in the Autumn Story mode extension because she currently doesn't exist in the Tekken story at all. Um, Rob Grizzly goes, I have to concede that customization mode is pretty bad. The variety has been absolutely gutted. Lydia could end up like Leroy, where he wasn't really canon until he was. I'm a little surprised to see her back. Was she that popular? And Anerio33 goes, YouTube randomly recommends me a video of fighting game fans reacting to these Evo Japan announcements. It's so bizarre how they cheered up when the game announced a new season, more DLC is coming, etc. Poor people got conditioned to embrace this anti-consumer nonsense. A season of DLC is something to be happy about. So, how do you feel about Tekken 8? Are you still upset with what they did with their aggressive microtransaction monetization practices, or is that water under the bridge to you? How do you feel?
Uh, it's a lot of money to invest into one game of Tekken by itself. Because now I gotta worry about Tekken 7 with its DLC as well from past and all. Because if I want to play the newest characters in Tekken 7, I have to spend Season Pass plus also the DLC packs as well for a discount. So it's kind of like, regardless if I want to know more about the character itself through Tekken 7 and all, that's gonna it's gonna be another cash cow of itself. And Tekken 8 is gonna be another cash cow separate of itself as well. So I mean, I'm an average, purchaser of games and all. Like I'm just like I call it before, but so much. But the basics are best, and I don't have money and time like that as I used to just to spend like just like the DLC packs and song packs and skin packs. It's a waste of time after all because I don't have that kind of like money for that. So the average Tekken player, just get the basics, the bare bones. And that's about it. Or
Yeah.
one of them.
Well, I have to say, Tekken 8, Bandai Namco pretty much um, almost killed Tekken with what they did to customization once the game was out. You know, basically waiting until the word was out and then they released the monetization. Them trying to get more money off it
Oh
through
yeah.
what they did. Um, I'm not interested in Tekken. I really haven't since Tekken. The last time I was interested in Tekken was like Tekken 4 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Like I said, I tried Tekken 5 and 6. I did not like them at all. Um, so, yeah, and now with what they do with customization, it's just like I'm not going to support them. Especially, it's bad enough they took Tekken in a direction I didn't like, but now they're basically being dishonest. They waited until the good reviews came out and until the game sold. Then they said, okay, we're doing this. If you don't like it, tough. Um,
Not to mention the fact that if you want to play online on PS, PlayStation, and Xbox, you have to spend another 30 $10 a month on just playing online. And that's if you can
yeah,
afford if you can't afford a decent PC at the time. So that's another women right there to think of too. So sure, I get a PC version or get a better computer, whatever. But that's a huge investment just for one game, you know. If you
yeah,
want to play Tekken 8, that is. So
yeah. Not to mention, I mean, I really can't get mad at them for DLC. when WWE games was coming out, WWE 12, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, and so on. I remember one time was basically the Nexus stable, all 8 members of Nexus, with the NXT arena as DLC. And it was like $10,
Wow.
which 8 characters, one arena, $10, not bad. Um, but with what they've done, you know, I just haven't really. I've lost any interest I might have had in Tekken 8. I wasn't anywhere close to getting a copy. I'm definitely not now. Um, Maybe they should make things right with their audience with with some free DLC.
Definitely.
I doubt they're going to do that, but it would be at least a start. Um, and then, like I said, I've never even heard of this character. They said she was in Tekken 7 as DLC, but that's it.
Yeah, the Prime Minister.
So, yeah, so I mean, like I said, I've been at Tekken for so long, I just don't find this a game interesting. Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Next, Starfield's first expansion, Shattered Space, to release this fall. Starfield's first expansion, Shattered Space, is set to arrive this fall, according to director Todd Howard. Plus, a new update for Starfield is coming later this week that will make changes to shipbuilding mechanics and more. Howard revealed this and more about Starfield in a new interview with Kinda Funny, which is where the Bethesda executive producer also discussed Amazon's Fallout TV show and the Fallout series in general, as reported by Xbox Era. As for what to expect of Shattered Space, Howard didn't say much. However, we already know it will bring new story content, locations, gear, and more to Starfield. As noted by Xbox Era, Shattered Space will be free for all Starfield Deluxe Edition owners. As for the update coming to Starfield later this week, Howard says it will focus on the shipbuilding. This lines up with what the Starfield team shared last year in its 2024 plans for the game. Here's what it said at the time. For those who love shipbuilding, we'll also be expanding on ship customization with ship decorations, new shipbuilding options, and more. Other updates scheduled for 2024 include new ways to travel, city maps and support, accessibility, and additional difficulty options, and more. For more about the game, read Game Informer Starfield review, and then read about how Starfield is surprisingly great as a remote play game. After that, check out the story, how Starfield is more like a sci-fi theme park than open world adventure. What do you hope to see in the expansion? Let's go to comments, and then I'll get Dr. Games 101's answer. Smack goes, I don't think anything can save this game. It needs a ground-up remake. It's flawed at its core, and the boring is just built on that. Quinn goes, Starfield is good. I think the folks here hating just jump on the dog pile bandwagon. Absolute losers, lol. And John Helldiver goes, will be enough to entice players back. What about you? Do you have any interest in Starfield now with their newest, their first expansion?
Not really. I'm not really excited for the expansion because I wasn't even excited for the original Starfield game. I played the 15 minutes of it, which is not much to say much about the game yet, but it just seems kind of like very not very boring, but it's like it has its moments where it's kind of dull. So it's kind of like I'm not immersive into it as I'm supposed to be. And I hear that you have to wait another like at least 20 hours of gameplay in order to get immersive into the game. I'm like, who has the kind of time to spend 20 hours just a week for something better? And
Right.
so it's kind of like it had moments to impress me, yes, but not like nothing epic about it or sort of very extravagantized, or you want to call it like that. So
Yeah, I have to agree. This game just looked like it was boring from this point from the start. The ship customization options don't really interest me because that's not something I would care about. Um, yeah, it's just Starfield was hyped up to be what was going to be the saving grace of Xbox, especially after Redfall failed. Starfield was not the savior for Xbox. Um, and it's just been a disappointment ever since.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I don't really think this is going to entice players back. I think they're just supporting it because they have to. Um, so that's all I have to say. Ready to move on?
You move on. Yeah.
All right. Next. Microsoft announces Xbox Game Pass May 2024 Wave 1 lineup. Microsoft has announced the first wave of games coming to Game Pass in May 2024. Highlights include Little Kitty Big City, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. First up on May 2nd is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition across cloud console and PC. Crystal Dynamics' action adventure returns to Game Pass as the studio works on a brand new game in the series. IGN's Tomb Raider Definitive Edition review returned a 9 out of 10. We said Tomb Raider Definitive Edition good looks are a bonus. It's still Lara, great pacing, and clever design that make it amazing. Next up on May 7th is Kona 2 Broom for Cloud Console and PC. This first person narrative game is set in a rural mining village in northern Canada in 1970. Then on May 9th, Little Kitty Big City for Cloud Console and PC launches as a day one title straight into Game Pass. In this open world playground, you play a cat who tries to find their way back home. Moving on, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons for Cloud Console and PC returns to Game Pass on May 14th. IGN's Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons review returned an 8 out of 10. We said Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is a beautiful and unique twin stick adventure brimming with imagination. Um, so, uh, again, that's Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, came out a couple days ago. Kona 2 Boom for Cloud Console and PC comes out in 3 days. Little Kitty Big City comes to Cloud Console and PC in 5 days. And then in 10 days, it's Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons coming to Cloud Console and PC. That rounds out Wave 1 of May's Game Pass lineup, but it's worth noting that we know of at least one game coming to Game Pass in the second half of the month: Ninja's Senua Saga Hellblade 2. It's also worth noting that Microsoft surprise launched The Rewinder for Cloud Console and PC into Game Pass on April 29th. It's a 2D puzzle adventure game inspired by traditional Chinese folklore. Meanwhile, Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Survivor for PC and Xbox Series X and S is also in Game Pass via EA Play, which is part of a Game Pass Ultimate subscription. As is usually the case, a number of games are set to leave Game Pass this month. You can save 20% off your purchase if you would like to keep them in your library. Everything leaving Game Pass on May 15th is Eastern Exorcist for Cloud Console and PC. All of these are for Cloud Console and PC. Yuden Chronicle Rising, Fuga Melodies of Street 2, Ghost Lore, Just Cause 4 Reloaded, Norco, SD Gundam Battle Alliance, and Superland 6 Inches Under. So are you interested in any of these games coming to Game Pass?
Uh, well, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, I played a couple of times before. I have a copy of it. Also, did a record of it many months, if not years ago.
I remember
So
that, yep.
yeah, it was all right. Now they have an enhanced version, I hear, for the Xbox Series S and X and PS5. Most likely, I think it is too. So it's not bad experience, I hear. Um, Now the other games, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure about them per se. Um,
Right. Well, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition,
okay, I
Kona
remember.
2, Kona 2 Boom, and I think Little Kitty Big City.
Yeah, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I played it at least one time. Did a video commentary with it. It was all right experience. I'm used to the old school Tomb Raider from the 1990s with the
Yeah.
with the good looking stuff of Tomb Raider back then, of course. And now it's just all just like like rough and tumble type of like tomboy type of shit. It's pretty cool. At the same time, it is what it is. So she's trying to be a strong, independent woman type of situation, which I can commend her. You know, she did a good job. Oh, not good. Well, I'm trying to say good judgment, like the performance, the graphics, like they upped the ante with the first impressions of the new generation of Tomb Raider, which has been since 2014. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll try. I'll play more of that most likely with you guys sometime this year as well if I put my mind to it. You know, because so far I'm to the part, because I only did about the first hour of the game, and that's about it. And it's more to it than meets the eye. I see. So yeah. Other than that, that's all I can think of with the first wave of games coming out this month.
Yeah, I do have to say, it's kind of weird. This is the first time. I mean, they're bringing four games back for the first half of May, and two of them are games that were already on the service that they took off,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're putting them back on for whatever reason. Um, so I'm just really not interested in any of these games because the other two games are like unknowns. I never even heard of them until I read this article. So, if you like Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, great. If you like Brother A Tale of Two Sons, that's great. But just I just look at this list and go, I'm not missing anything.
Oh yeah,
Anything else to add or ready to move on?
we can move on.
Okay. I'm going to have something to say about this.
Uh oh.
Our friends at WB disappoint again. Batman Arkham Shadow announced, coming exclusive to Meta Quest 3.
The fuck?
Batman returns to a Quest 3 headset near you. Almost a decade has passed since Rocksteady Studios wrapped up its Dark Knight trilogy and Batman Arkham Knight, but at long last, a new game is set in that universe has been revealed for MetaQuest 3. The Caped Crusader will be swinging back into action in a new virtual reality game developed by Republic Geek and Iron Man VR studio Camouflage. Okay, so it's not Rocksteady at least. The studio says that it is aiming to capture the feel of the Arkham series, and a full reveal will be shown in the months to come. You can get a glimpse of the direction that the studio is going in with the cinematic trailer below, which teases Batman taking on his greatest foe yet, too many damn rats. We are committed to building upon the beloved foundation laid by the legendary team at Rocksteady and driven to do it justice, Camouflage said in a press release. Batman Arkham Shadow is being crafted to be the ultimate VR game and take full advantage of MetaQuest 3. Leaning into our 8 years of dedicated VR games development history has enabled us to not only create a distinctly Arkham feeling game, but done in a way that leverages the immersive magic only VR can provide. This isn't the first time that Batman and VR have crossed paths, as back in 2016, Rocksteady released Batman Arkham VR for PS4. That was the final appearance of the studio's Batman until the release of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League this year, with the Dark Knight's role in that game being criticized by fans. Footage of a Batman game based on the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight film also recently surfaced online, showing how developer Monolith planned to put its own spin on the comic book character before the project was scrapped and elements from it were used to develop Middle-earth Shadow Mordor. So, I'm going to look at the comments. Ebony Flame goes, I'm a big fan of Camouflage Studios, but this concerns me. They have enough problems getting their own original titles out. Now they are being asked to make a Batman game in VR at that. They make fun little titles that are quirky and glitchy and have a unique look. Perhaps they might have bitten off a little more than they could chew with this one. I wish them all the luck. And Uninspired Cup goes, this is the type of stuff that's killing VR. Okay, you want to go first? I want to look up something before I give my opinion.
Yeah, sure. To me, it's this: the first three Arkham games, especially the first three, were one of the best Batman trilogies of all time, in my opinion. I hear that is, and I did play the Arkham Asylum for a couple of hours. I did record of that years back, as you can tell, guys. You can check that out on my channel. Um, I never played Arkham City, but I hear that's the best Batman so far among the Arkham games. And right now it's kind of like weird for it to have a fourth, or if not, what was it called, a fifth Arkham game actually, and it's only geared towards like virtual reality gamers. And if you want to try to include the Arkham players who followed Arkham since the beginning of it all, I mean that's a good strategy to bring people to play more VR, but that's a risk that worth taking and to put in some trailers, VR play trailers, that is, and as well as the gameplay event, as well as the story event has to be coincided too, because you don't just put something random into the game after the aftermath of the Arkham story. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, when I first read this title, I was thinking, no, 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 no. This is not what people want. They, again, it's swing and a miss. MetaQuest 3, it's a VR headset. These VR headsets are not cheap. So you're asking someone to have the console, have the headset, which is about the price of another console, and then to get the game, to play this one game. And I know the headset can be used with other VR games, but how many VR games are out there? Um, so now that they basically fucked up, Suicide Squad, killed the Justice League, since that didn't do enough damage to Batman, now they're going to do a VR game. How many people are really going to play this?
Hmm.
I mean, that's my concern. Why are you making a game? To be honest, if MetaQuest 3 was selling so great and doing so well, why is there no one talking about it? Keep in
Yeah,
mind, we've been covering gaming news for 3 years. We never heard a peep about this.
barely.
If MetaQuest 3 was really had such a large install base, players would be we would hear something. I mean, but it's like they're making a game that's great. They're returning to the Arkham name at least, but it's only in VR. So if you don't have a VR headset, you're not going to be able to play it.
Oh yeah.
What was the thought process here? I mean, well, really, what was the thought process? Let's make a game that's so expensive that basically requires you to have the price to afford two consoles and the game. We're gonna release the game just for them. Um, is this not a bad economy that we're in?
Milk,
You
milk
know,
us for everything we have, James. That's how it is.
but the thing is, it just makes no sense. It's like why would you release a game for this? I mean, like I said, VR's news has been dead. There's really no news in VR. Um, so why release a game? I mean, you're basically killing a game by capping its audience size to people who are going to be able to afford it.
Right.
And I mean, maybe you know what? Maybe they should just scrap Arkham Shadow, or at least or go a different direction. Make Arkham Shadow a game that people can play on Xbox Series, PS5. You know, something I said a couple weeks ago. Make a game people want to play, not a game that only a few people can afford to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, this is just another. I mean, at this point, they might as well just kill the Batman franchise in gaming altogether. Because I mean, they had that dumpster fire at the beginning of the year that might not make it past January of next year. Now they got a VR game that not many people are going to be able to afford. The headset, let alone the game, and you can't play the game without VR. What's the point?
Oh yeah.
I really failed to see the point here, and I'm getting pissed off at this because, like I said, Arkham Asylum blew everyone's socks off. Arkham City was even better. Arkham Origins was a different studio. I still thought it was good, but people didn't like it. But that's also looked at like the black sheep of the Arkham family. And then Arkham Knight, everyone loved. And ever since then, it's like, how do we make a Batman
Yep. It was the end. There was a great ending too. I hear too. The Arkham Knight, even though it had problems with itself on the PC version, but still.
well, I'm gonna spoil it. Someone did the female Let's Player that I've watched. I watched her play through all four. She did Batman Arkham Knight all the way through, and at the end, Batman's identity gets revealed by Arkham Knight, and then when Bruce Wayne returns home, he goes in the house. Alfred meets him at the door, like, "You sure you want to do this?" Bruce Wayne's like, "Definitely. No one's gonna care. No one's gonna fear Batman anymore." Bruce Wayne closes the door behind him with news reporters wanting to get a word with Bruce Wayne, and then Bruce Wayne's house blows up.
Wow.
Um, it was basically to fake Batman's death, um,
Right.
but and fake Bruce Wayne's death because no one's, everyone knew Bruce Wayne was Batman now. So, criminals didn't fear him. Um, but then also there was like Azrael that who wanted to become the new purveyor, the new hero of Gotham. Um, and there's a chance where Azrael can kill Batman or listen to Batman. So basically, Azrael was like trying to become the next Batman, but he wasn't trying to kill. He wasn't. He was being given bad information on Batman, but
Mm.
Batman also tried to take him under his wing because Batman knew he couldn't do it forever. So he was eventually going to have to pass on the reins. And there was a scene afterwards where in Arkham Knight where a bunch of thugs see someone that looks like a Batman outline standing on a building, and one of the thugs goes, "Yeah, Bruce Wayne, you don't scare us anymore." And then the dark figure flies, and it's wearing like black and red. It's not Batman. Looks like it was maybe Azrael taking Batman's place now. Um, that's where Arkham Knight went. Um, but like I said, ever since Arkham Knight, Gotham Knights didn't work. Uh, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, awful. Now a game based specifically for VR players.
Mm.
And the thing is, the PS5 has like what 2 VR games. This is going to make it 3.
Mm.
What again? IX. What was the thought process of? What was the thought process behind this? You can make it. That's great, but I mean, if no one has the money to buy the VR headset, if not many people are playing with it, who's going to play this game?
Mm. You're right. It was Astral again. Like he like
He
sword.
was he was wearing like red and white. He had a sword. Yeah, you probably didn't get that far if you played Arkham Knight. Basically, Batman met him on rooftops, and like Azrael wanted to be the new hero of Gotham, and Batman's like, I have to put you through tests to make sure that you can handle it.
Oh, like Catwoman, like that for the movies of the
Yeah,
Christopher
it,
Nolan Batman.
like Catwoman, but Azrael was more. He wasn't as much of a criminal as like Catwoman was.
Of course not. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna be sticking to the old Batman games. I'll stick to Bat. I'll stick. I never. I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish Arkham Knight, but I'll stick to Batman: The Brave and the Bold. When I get that game again for Wii. Um, yeah, there's plenty of. That's one thing. There's plenty of Batman games you can play from the past. Some are good, some are bad. But
Some of it is
uh,
cheesy.
but there's no shortage of them. Like there are good RoboCop games from the past. Um, so yeah, so I mean, uh, I don't have VR. I don't plan to get a PS5 or a VR headset. So
Yes,
I'm
it's
not going to
very
be getting this.
expensive. Yeah, VR gaming is very expensive. I mean, back during the Virtual Boy of the 1980s and all, it seemed kind of expensive, $200 with your Super Nintendo or PS1, whatever it comes first at the time back then. But it didn't do so well in sales or in long term usage. So
Yeah, and we're not seeing a big influx of VR games that's making the PS headset or the VR headset for PS5 even worth it.
hmm
I mean, like I said, we've been following gaming news pretty closely for like over 3 years now, almost 4 years this summer,
definitely.
and we barely hear anything about VR.
Yeah, last time I heard anything good about VR was with Resident Evil 7. And even that was like once a one hit wonder of itself, VR at the time, back in 2017. And I was like,
Right.
yeah, so
So yeah, I just don't see this Batman game being a success. Ready to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
All right, we only got a couple stories left.
Sure thing.
PlayStation Plus free games for May 2024 revealed. Plus subscribers can play soccer, Zelda like, and sci fi games next month. PlayStation has revealed this month's batch of free games for PlayStation Plus subscribers. All PS Plus members will be able to claim a quarter of freebies starting May 7th. EA Sports FC 24, Ghost Runner 2, Tunic, and Destiny 2 Lightfall. If you haven't claimed April's PlayStation Plus games, make sure to do so before next Tuesday. EA Sports FC 24 is a fairly recent game as it was released in September of 2023. EA's first soccer game since it parted ways with FIFA, EA Sports FC 24 might have had a new name, but it's still the same beautiful game. With a ton of licensed teams and leagues and impressive technology powering the entire experience, this was a solid attempt from EA to establish a new franchise. We've seen plenty of Zelda-like games over the years, and Tunic ranks up there with the best of them. A love letter to the 16-bit era of Zelda games, Tunic is challenging, charming, and full of wonder. Ghost Runner 2 is another recent game arriving on PlayStation Plus this month, and in case you missed it, this cyberpunk action game builds on the foundation of the first game to deliver more Fast and Furious action, high-stakes combat meets smooth parkour energy in the sequel. And once you find your groove, Ghost Runner 2 provides a riveting action experience. Finally, Destiny 2 Lightfall rounds out the selection of new releases in May. Arriving a month before the release of Destiny 2's next expansion, The Final Shape, Lightfall is the penultimate chapter in the Light and Darkness saga. It's not the best showcase of Destiny 2, but it's worth diving into so that you can earn some exclusive exotic weapons, master the Strand subclass, and power up your Guardian before the final battle with the Witness. Okay, so I'm going to review comments for these games coming to PlayStation Plus. Afro Maca goes, is Sony okay? Are they hallucinating and giving away decent games? It's not A2 goes, Tunic is great. Nice get. Pierce Sparrow goes, that's a really solid lineup. I'll probably give Ghost Runner 2 a shot, even though I quit the first time for the first game at the first boss. Never played Tunic, so this will be an excuse to finally give it a go. Do any of these games interest you?
Um, it's PlayStation. I haven't played in a long time. It's like that, so not really.
Yeah.
It's what the word games game? Can you repeat that one more time? 'Cause I lost
Uh,
track.
yeah, EA Sports FC 24, Ghost Runner 2, Tunic, and I can't tell from the picture. Destiny 2 Lightfall.
Yeah, the Destiny 2 it's called the final something or the final pack, whatever it's called for it's coming out next month. So that's one of the most
Yeah,
anticipated
the release of
expansions.
Destiny 2's next expansion, The Final Shape.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I hope it's with the last expansion because they're losing ideas now with Destiny 2, and they sure come out with Destiny 3, but within the next couple of years after that. So it's that's my opinion, of course, because Destiny 2, it's all right to play, but they force people to pay every single thing though. Because when I bought Destiny 2, well, here's the situation. Destiny 2 was free to play months after the original Destiny 2 game came out back in 2017, all. And it had a good story, good campaign. If you want to include that distinct character that was promoted, they were promoting of from the previous Destiny game, or the late stages of late Destiny, the Destiny 1 and all. After that, it died down. They changed everything around. They forced people behind a paywall or to buy multiple expansions. And it's hard to keep track of after 3, 4, 5 years now. And when I bought a copy of the free to play, you thought that supposed free to play copy on Amazon store for $10 would get you somewhere, but no, it's the same thing. You play these campaigns where it's like a social setting, like a play versus everything. It's not an actual campaign of itself that you want to play. So it's like I don't understand Destiny. They make me buy more and more, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. And it's hard to keep track of which one to buy first, and so forth. So it's a major turnoff. So I haven't played
Yep.
Destiny like that in years now. You know?
Yep. I gotta say, Tunic. I do like the Zelda games. At least the Super Nintendo ones, like I said, the N64 one, Ocarina of Time, that just scared the crap out of me. I usually don't have a problem with spiders, but the Skulltulas, just I can't. I can't. Um, but anyway, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, um, like on Super Nintendo, that was a great game. I'd actually play through it again. Um, those Zelda games are fine. So I'd probably like Tunic to be if I was being honest. Um, Ghost Runner 2, I really don't know if it's a cyberpunk action game built on the foundation. So um, it's a racing game, from what I could tell.
Right.
So I don't know if I would care about that. Destiny 2 and EA Sports FC 24. If I was going to play it, I'd probably play it once. Um, yeah, so Tunic is really the only one of these four that I would actually try out if I had PlayStation Plus or care to try out.
Right.
Anything else to add or ready to move on?
You can move on.
All right, this is the final story for tonight. Helldivers 2 PC players will be forced to link a PlayStation Network account starting this month. The Helldivers 2 PC player base isn't happy about this. Helldivers 2 PC players will need to sign into the game with a PlayStation Network account, making an optional part of the game mandatory for everyone moving forward. This requirement was originally planned for Helldivers 2 when it first launched, but due to technical issues and the early success of the game and not wanting to anger its fans too quickly, developer Arrowhead postponed implementing it. According to the developer on its Discord channel, linking accounts is one of its main methods for protecting players from griefing and abuse by more toxic elements of the community, while also allowing banned players the right to appeal. As of May 6, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account, Arrowhead explained. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have linked to Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. Not long after this news broke, the Steam storefront page for Helldivers 2 was flooded with thousands of negative user reviews. Some players are concerned about potential security risk and data harvesting, while others have pointed out that they may not be able to play the game due to the PlayStation Network not being available in their region. While it isn't unusual for a Steam game to force players to link an account, Xbox games like Sea of Thieves do this, Helldivers 2 is currently the only PlayStation Studios PC port with this requirement. In other news from the Helldivers 2 front, a recent patch has nerfed several of the more popular weapons in the game, and the next Warbond, Polar Patriots, has been revealed. This new selection of winter-themed weapons and armor will go live on May 9th and include a high-damage assault rifle, incendiary impact grenades, and new armor sets. So let's read the comments for this one. Let's see. Villain goes, fine by me, as I've already done that since Sony implemented the feature. Well, yeah, it's nice that you can do it. What about the people that can't? Dado Trust goes, my Steam account is holy for me, with 2,500 games and a lot of money invested in it. I will not risk my Steam account to be hacked, knowing the track record of Sony data breaches. My PSN account was hacked 3 times in 10 years. Thanks, but no thanks, Sony. Retirement from helldiving it is then. Zipio goes, Sony is gross, and these devs tried to put a PR spin on it instead of just straight up saying, we are or we're obligated to do this but couldn't at launch. I hate this on the principle of it. But as a gamer on a game with crossplay, as long as crossplay has an on-off toggle button, and I'll read M485 go, considering it absolutely doesn't need it for PC, this is just Sony strong-arming to make it mandatory, and will be the main one suffering for it. So what do you think of this saying you have to link your Steam account to a PlayStation Network account if you want to continue to play Helldivers 2?
Call that bullshit. It's ridiculous. Like Sony is known for its security breaches and security
Yep.
related like shutdowns of their system and all. Sure, for the last couple of years now, at least they force people to buy their monthly, yearly services now, but they pocket all that money out here, and they're still doing bad as business people. And they're known for their backstabbing among their clients, their vendors, and stuff like that. So it's if they're gonna do that to those entities, are gonna do that to the customers as well. And I'm not saying PlayStation is altogether like a horrible service, but at times it can be, and it's ridiculous. Like PC players is PC. That's what I hate about having clunking everything together with PS1, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC all together. It's this one, collided, intertwined entity because it fucks up the other platforms, due diligence to do stuff. And once that happens, it's over. And that's what's going on right now with between PlayStation and now with PC. And uh, and I think the reason why this is a separate issue too, because of the Phil Spencer and Xbox. Phil Spencer said that this is what I hear through my network of friends, our Xbox friends. They say to me that the reason why Phil Spencer not bringing Helldivers 2 to Xbox because they don't want to outdo the Halo sales or the Halo overall interactions on their Xbox. So because there'll be competition for them to go up against in Helldivers 2 on their console. So that's another issue too to worry about as well with Xbox. So it's kind of like there's a clusterfuck going on right now with Helldivers legitimacy in login verifications with the PSN network, and people already have problems with the PSN network trying to log into on their PS3s for how many months, about a couple of years now since that announcement, saying they're going to shut down most of their services on their PlayStation, well, it matters Sony and all. So, like, what are they doing, Sony? Like, Sony's not helping their case any better. So
Yeah.
keep it up, Sony. You'll lose most of your PlayStation players. Because I, for one, want to go to PlayStation for the sake of the PS5 of the Final Fantasy remake, for the Bridget Spears Kenya game, so on and so forth. I even bought PS4 games that were on sale for like under $20, and I was like, I'm one that want to play PS4 games like the Nathan Drake saga, Nathan Drake Uncharted 4, and all. I mean, you're ruining your own reputation, Sony. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah. I have to say this is complete bullshit. Like they said, there's no fix for people who don't have PlayStation Network in their region. Using a VPN and saying you exist in a different region than you actually exist is against the terms and service, so you can't even do that because if they find out you're lying, you'll have violated the terms and service. Um, and this is ridiculous. Why do we have to link accounts for Steam now with PlayStation? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if Xbox does it, that's not good for them either. Um, but a lot of people are going to lose access to this game, or that can't do anything because it's not PlayStation Network is not available in their region. So those people are shit out of luck. And the people, I understand them not wanting to do it. I was playing my PS3 a lot in April of 2011 when they had that big data breach where they actually gave away 2 free games to everyone. That's how I got Little Big Planet and Dead Nation for PS3. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I should have gotten Infamous instead, but at the time my younger brother had it, so I was like, why am I going to get a game I could just go across the hall and borrow if
Yeah.
but Little Big Planet, like I tried to play it. I never got into it. I thought I was gonna be able to play like all kinds of levels made by different people, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm not going anywhere. What's going on? It's like, um, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I've had Little Big Planet digitally since then. Dead Nation, I played on Twitch a bunch of times. Um, but back to this, yes, I mean so I've even experienced. I remember that breach because that was right like just a few weeks after WWE All Stars came out, and I was playing that game on the PS3 quite a lot. So I remember when that data breach happened, and also I think that was the biggest one, at least that I remember.
Yeah, 2011. I was
Uh,
in the hospital at the time too.
but like I do know it's happened since then, also, but like not to that degree
Mm-hmm.
of 2011. So yeah, this is Sony basically strong arming, and shame on Helldivers 2 developers for agreeing to it. You didn't have to agree to this, but you did. Didn't you think this was going to hurt some players that bought the game? They're not going to get a refund. They can't play. They can't link it to PlayStation Network if it's not available.
Mm-hmm.
And they wonder why game developers. They wonder why players are so cynical about console and game developers getting their trust
Oh
when
yeah.
they do something like this. Yeah, well, you slap people in the face enough, you're gonna lose their support for good.
And they'll fight
But
back
if
eventually too through their wallets.
yeah, so like I said, just another reason to go back to retro, because I'm not supporting companies that do this kind of crap. And like I said, Xbox doesn't get a free pass because it did it with Sea of Thieves. That's also awful.
Yeah, very
Um,
boring to that game, Sea of Thieves.
and that's the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please follow me if you did. Um, do you have any plans for tomorrow, Dr. Games 101?
Not specific for tomorrow, but I just got my new multi-tap USB device that connects all my devices to my PC with no problems. I'm trying to see if I can record properly with my OBS and do some more gameplay like I did with Cyberpunk and all. Because it went out like my previous multi-tap device. It just stopped working, ceased altogether, so I had to take a break from it. So hopefully by next week I can start recording. If not, then you gotta wait a little longer as always. Until you want to donate to our Patreon at drgates101, patreon.com, I'll contribute that funded towards buying a new PC. So that's about it.
Right. Yeah, tomorrow, don't hold me to this because I am going to do a blog post probably about the Helldivers 2 um, debacle that's going on PlayStation Network that we just discussed. But if I get a blog post done, I'm also going to do a stream, maybe Castlevania Symphony of the Night for Xbox 360. Um, I never get far in that game. But I did get it for Xbox 360 games with gold when it was offered, whenever that was. So, um, definitely keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna try to get that up do that sometime Sunday night. Um, my work schedule is changing, so I gotta get up early in the morning now, Monday through Thursday, and even a little earlier on Saturdays than I have been. So, it's not like I'm gonna be able to stay up Sunday night till like 1 a.m. anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get this up. That's my plans. So I hope you enjoyed this. Follow us if you did. And our next podcast will be in 2 weeks on May 18th, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. I hope you join us then. Until next time, good night, everyone.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.